All right. Welcome, everyone, to today's session. Hope you're enjoying Connect Live. Today, we are actually going to be speaking with our current cloud customers and really kind of reviewing the last year. So, the session today is called Powering a Virtual or Hybrid Workforce Lessons Learned 1 Year Later. My name is Debbie Flax. I'm a Customer Success Manager, America's Lead. And Nick, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Nick Infante, and I'm a Customer Success Program Manager here at iManage.
Our panels today are the following. From Conrad O'Brien, we have Micah Tone, IT Manager. From Sherman and Sterling, we have Anthony Sarawaji, Manager of Information Products. From Aaron Fox, we have Ed McNamara, Chief Technology Officer. And from Thirsk Winton, we have Jason Winton, who is a partner. A quick summary of each company's cloud profile. Really not going to go through each one in detail, but I think the takeaway here is, each of these teams have gone live in the cloud at various points with a couple who have gone live actually during the pandemic. So, Nick, I will turn it over to you.
So, guys, as we begin our conversation about virtual workforces, I'd like to start the conversation with your top lessons learned from the pandemic. Anthony, if you could kick us off.
Yes. So one of the lessons learned was actually the pitfalls of introducing data classification with new technology. We went to the cloud during the pandemic, and we came from a legacy open text system to iManage Cloud, and the problem with that is we could not enforce data classification rules in the old system, but we had no choice. We had to integrate them as we went on, and it was quite a challenge.
So, unlike Anthony, Aaron Fox had been in the cloud since 2018, so we had a great experience during the pandemic because it gave us basically nothing to do. It just ran, and we could focus on other things during the pandemic.
Mike, how about you?
Yeah, we migrated over during the pandemic. Our migration was very easy. We had already had FileSite in our site on premise. We moved up to the cloud, and really for the end user, nothing really changed. It worked the same way when they went home on Friday. When they came in on Monday, they opened up, and everything was almost exactly the same for them. So it was a good experience.
It's great. And Jason, what was your experience?
Well, we actually migrated from iManage on-premise to iManage Cloud before the pandemic. And one thing the pandemic showed us is that thinking about agile working is so important, because enabling our lawyers to be able to work how they want, where they want, when they want, that's something we've been looking at for a long time, and it's really important. And because we're already set up for that to some degree, when the pandemic came, we were up and running already, and iManage Cloud was a big help primarily because of its web interface. Our lawyers would be able to access their work product from any device they wanted and where they wanted. That was a huge help for us.
That's awesome. So it's great insight there on lessons learned. I'd like us to pivot the conversation specifically to collaboration. What best practices can you share and lessons learned specifically about collaboration, and how did you leverage different technologies and devices during the pandemic? Ed, can you kick us off here?
Sure. We were about to go sign a contract with Zoom when the pandemic hit, and that got canceled, and we moved to Teams and began to really take advantage of Teams, both for the collaboration in terms of sharing with external clients, and obviously with Teams as audio visual, and the ability that we had between our email being SaaS, iManage being SaaS, and video being SaaS really helped us a lot so that we could focus on the business needs of the firm during the pandemic.
Mike, how about your experience?
Yeah, we did a lot of the same things. We leveraged both Zoom, we leveraged Teams as well. it really makes it a lot better to collaborate between each other when you can't be in the same room. We have, a lot of attorneys that were used to being in the office every day. When they can't be in the office every day and meet with each other that easily, a collaboration tool becomes a large toolbox and a big win for these attorneys to be able to open a document and look at it and work on it in real time together and be able to, take control of that document and make edits on the fly, working together was really a big plus for them.
And Jason, what was your experience?
But just looking about the question about devices, what we found was, where possible, try not to dictate to our lawyers what device they've got to use and how they've got to use it. And we found that when, for example, we were using Teams for collaboration, people were connecting from iPhones, from tablets. Some of them were in the office. Some of them, most of the time, weren't in the office. And just being able to offer that without being too prescriptive about the way they've got to connect and how they've got to connect, went down well and actually encouraged the lawyers to use these collaboration platforms.
And then Anthony?
Same thing as Jason. Mobile access, it was a huge selling point and got our partners into the buy-in to remote working. And we have this policy, any device, anywhere, anytime. So that we saw an uptake in that. And also Teams. We've seen a lot of user activity since then. We have about, I think, over 130,000 calls, 20,000 channel messages. So we have a lot of, we've noticed that there's been a lot of collaboration happening, even with co-authoring.
That's great. So pivoting the conversation from collaboration to outcomes and goals for your organizations amidst the pandemic, with all the change and uncertainty, how did what you were measuring and your goals, how did those change during the pandemic? Jason, can you kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the desired business outcome above all else is client service. That's what it's all about. That's what we're always aiming for, highest levels of client service and constant improvement in that. And so that didn't change in the pandemic. That was obviously front and center the whole way through. But what we found was that the tools that we had at our disposal, iManage Cloud giving us that mobile access and that easy access to work products from wherever, that obviously helps. That helps in a huge way. So yeah, the answer to your question is, did our business outcomes, our desired business outcomes evolve? Not really. They stayed there, but we were able to keep progressing in improving those outcomes because we were well set up in advance with iManage Cloud.
It's great to hear. Ed, how about it, Ernst Fox?
So I think similar to Jason, our business outcomes didn't change, but I think a big positive that came out of the pandemic was that the firm saw a lot about the benefits of technology, both in the ability of the firm to pivot and keep going. And we've seen that the firm continues to value technology more now than it did before because it's seen that it makes a big difference. So the ability to not worry about your documents, not worry about collaboration, all those made a huge difference. And we're leveraging that today where partners are willing to talk to us about using technology to do more things than they were before.
It's a pretty big shift, right?
Yeah.
Mike, how about your experience?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of almost parrot what Ed said, we've been able to leverage that technology and show everyone, hey, look, we can even do more, and the same thing, our business outcomes at the end of the day were our clients satisfied with the service that we're providing to them. And I would say that we were actually able to maybe provide a higher level of service by implementing more technologies and more collaboration. We're able to get document production out faster using, some of our paralegals or maybe, being able to work on the fly remotely and be able to increase that production for our attorneys.
It's great. And then Anthony, how about at Sherman?
Same as everyone has mentioned, our partnership was not cloud resistant. It was always our strategy. But what we saw, some of the people who were skeptical about the cloud, we saw the need heightened and the push for it. They were like, how soon can we go to the cloud? This was in April. Let's go. Let's move. Let's do this. So